What is up, car addicts? So now that we have the newswire for the 2025 summer DLC, which is called Money Fronts, we now have a lot more information about it. So a lot of you guys have been asking me to make a video as to how much the content in this new DLC is going to cost. So in this video, I'm going to be making some predictions and estimates based on the current GTA economy and the price of similar recent content as well. So this video will be broken up into a few parts: the properties, the cars, the upgrades, the weapons, and of course the clothing. So starting off with the properties, we of course have the new car wash business, which is called Hands On Car Wash, and that's located right here on the map in game for those of you who don't know. Now, with the Agents of Sabotage DLC last year, we were able to purchase the garment factory for a flat price of 2.35 million, and it offered no upgrades, which was pretty unusual considering basically every business property in GTA does have upgrades. Now, for the DLC before that, the Bottom Dollar Bounties update with the bail office, these offices had an average price of about 2 million plus upgrades, so you can easily get one to over $4 million. So it's going to be interesting to see what route Rockstar takes, but I think a good estimate for the car wash business is around $3 million. And of course that includes any potential upgrades if they do decide to do that. Now, Rockstar also confirmed that we will be getting supplemental business fronts to the car wash business in this DLC, and those are the Smoke on the Water dispensary and the Higgins Heli Tours businesses. Now, these were businesses that were actually featured in story mode that Michael/Franklin could purchase. Now, the Smoke on the Water dispensary is located right here on the map. Now, in story mode, it costs $204,000. However, this is GTA Online this time around, so it's a completely different economy. The weed farm business, for example, from the MC business is about $1 million. So I'm going to estimate for this one about the same thing, $1 million for this Smoke on the Water dispensary business. Next up, we have the Higgins Heli Tours. This one is located here on the map. It's the Vespucci helipad we've been using for years, which we're finally going to be able to buy. And it's going to be interesting to see if we could potentially store some of our personal helicopters and maybe even VTOL aircraft in this hangar at the back here. Now, in story mode, the cost of this property was about $420,000, and obviously it's going to cost significantly more in GTA Online. For example, the Mackenzie Field hangar we bought earlier this year with the Oscar Guzman Flies Again mini update, that property had a normal price of just under $1.5 million compared to its $150,000 price tag in story mode. So factoring in everything, I'm going to estimate about $1.5 million for this Higgins Heli Tours business. So if we add up these three property estimates, that totals about $5.5 million just in properties alone for this DLC. Moving on to the vehicles, at the time of this recording, we have 5 new ones that have been teased by Rockstar. So let's start off with the new Western Police bike Rockstar discussed in a newswire, and it supposedly comes with a summer highway patrol outfit to match as well. So this will be the first ever purchasable police bike we get in GTA Online, and obviously we know police vehicles are not cheap, ranging from roughly $3 to $5 million. And I think it's safe to assume the bike will be one of the cheaper ones, so I'm going to estimate about $3.5 million for the police bike. Moving on to our normal cars, we only have 4 confirmed at the time of this recording. So starting off with the Class A Tampa GT. This one will be in the muscle car class as confirmed by Rockstar, and is primarily based on a 1967 Dodge Coronet with some styling elements from a 1965 Chevy Malibu as well. So if we look at the last few classic muscle cars we've gotten, Rockstar has been pretty consistent pricing them at roughly $1.5 million. So I would expect roughly the same thing for this car. Also, I don't see any Benny's upgrades in the screenshot Rockstar provided, so I think it's safe to assume this will be a standard car. Moving along to our second normal car, we have the Cheetah Classic Y-Body, which seems to be based on the Liberty Walk Y-Body kit for the Ferrari Testarossa. Now, we're not sure if this one's going to be a separate car like the Jester RR Y-Body, which that car was an atrocious mess with zero customization, or if it's going to be a Benny's upgrade like the Sentinel Classic and 10F Y-Body. It could go either way, honestly, it's up to Rockstar. Now, the Benny's Sentinel Classic Y-Body upgrade, for example, was $700,000 on top of the $650,000 price tag of the car, so roughly about $1.35 million all in. The Cheetah Classic has a base price of $865,000. So if we add about 700,000 to that, that puts us at over $1.5 million for this car. However, the terrible Jester RRY body was almost $2.3 million, just insanity. So it's really tough to estimate the price of this Cheetah Classic Y body depending on what Rockstar does, but I believe 1.5 million seems the most likely for this car regardless. Moving on to our third normal vehicle, we have the new Karin Everon RS, which is based on the Toyota Tacoma X-Runner concept. Now, Rockstar sadly didn't specify the class for this one, but it's likely to be in either off-road like the Firebolt ASP, or in muscle like some of the other muscle trucks in game. And I think the best comparable vehicles price-wise for this would be trucks like the Firebolt ASP, the Yosemite 1500, the Walton L35, the Hot Ring Everon, etc. These are somewhere between 1.2 to 1.8 million, so I'm going to estimate about 1.6 million for this truck. And I strongly believe this one will offer an HSW upgrade just like the Firebolt ASP did. For the Firebolt ASP, the HSW upgrade was a crazy $1.5 million. So this truck can easily cost you over $3 million if they offer that HSW upgrade for it. Next up, we have the overflawed Suzume Supercar, which Rockstar states GTA Plus members will have early access to. This one is based on the Aspark Owl, which in real life is an electric car, so it's safe to assume Rockstar will make it an EV in-game as well. Definitely the most comparable vehicle to this will be the Pipistrello. That one had a price of just under $3 million, and the supercar before that one, the Turismo Maggio, had a price of over $2.8 million, so I'm going to estimate $2.9 million for the overflawed Suzume. And lastly, in the newswire, Rockstar stated that we will be getting some Woodlander SUVs, which basically means new off-road SUVs, and that definitely means more than one because they said SUVs and not SUV. So let's just say 2 new off-road SUVs. The last few we've gotten have been somewhere between 1.4 to 1.9 million. So I'm going to estimate about $3 million total for these Woodlander SUVs. Now we also have to factor in the upgrades for these vehicles. Usually it costs between $400,000 to $500,000 to max out a car if they don't have HSW or Moneytech. So I'm going to estimate about $2.5 million to fully upgrade these 5 new cars. And we do have the Woodlander SUVs, so let's just say another $1 million in upgrades for those. And of course, Rockstar typically adds around a total of 15 vehicles for each DLC total. So technically only 5 confirmed so far, and another at least 2 SUVs. There's at least 7 or more vehicles that are unknown. So at an average of 1.7 million for each vehicle with max upgrades, we can add another 12 million to that. And remember that Rockstar also stated in the newswire that they will be adding the Amani-Tech Missile Lock-On Jammer to another 50 vehicles in game. So the Missile Lock-On Jammer, for those of you who don't know, is $400,000. So if we multiply that by 50, that's $20 million in Missile Lock-On Jammers alone. But I'm not going to be factoring that into this total estimate, just something I wanted to sort of mention there. Moving on to the weapons, there doesn't seem to be any new weapons teased, but typically Rockstar sneaks 1 or 2 weapons in these DLCs, and they're normally priced between $300,000 to $400,000. So we're going to estimate about $600,000 here in possible weapon additions with upgrades. And lastly, in terms of clothing, we usually get a few different articles of clothing for each DLC, and usually the outfits are the more expensive ones, especially when they're priced at like $100,000 each. So I'm going to estimate about $1 million to buy all the potential new clothes and accessories. So based on what we've discussed here, for day 1 content only, not including drip feed, I'm going to estimate for the Money Fronts DLC between $25 to $30 million to buy and fully upgrade everything for the update, again only for day 1. Now, if we include potential drip feed, the grand total I'm estimating is between 40 to 45 million to buy and max out every single item in the entire update, not including the Amani-Tech stuff. Just wanted to point that out. And it could be even more expensive if Rockstar decides to give us more cop cars. So if you want to save the most money possible, I would definitely not purchase any more cop cars, especially if you already own one. Also, for you conservative players out there, let's say you only plan on buying the 3 new businesses, 2 or 3 of the normal day 1 cars. I'd say you can comfortably still enjoy this update before the drip feed with about $10 million. But yeah, I really enjoyed making this video, guys, and looking into those story mode properties. It's really interesting seeing Rockstar go this route with the story mode properties lately. At least they're giving us some interesting content while waiting for the highly anticipated GTA 6. I know everybody wants, Michael DLC or massive aircraft carrier business and mansions and all that stuff, but I just don't think they have the time to do that when they have, most of their resources focused on GTA 6 to make it as perfect as possible. And the fact that we can, still at least have some decent updates in GTA 5 Online before GTA 6, I think is a pretty good balance. But anyways, again, guys, hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.